From a ring to a king. When rare books expert Devin Eastland discovered a tattered old copy of Shakespeare's King Lear in Vermont in 2022, she could hardly believe her eyes. And thankfully, what happened after the show was no tragedy.
It was later in the afternoon, box of books shows up, and the guest started taking the books out. The first one was not very interesting, and then he had a very worn, skinny, small, unimportant looking book that was also browned with a bad title page, but it was a Shakespeare.
Well, I brought a book that was part of a collection that my grandfather amassed, and it's just been coming down through the family, a very eclectic collection, but this is one that I thought was more interesting. It's an edition of William Shakespeare's King Lear. I first remember the books in my grandfather's house. In his den, he had a shelf about 2 feet long of old books.
What you brought is the third quarto edition of King Lear by William Shakespeare, printed by Jane Bell in 1655. When I was looking it up, I found that the last copy of the 1655 Jane Bell quarto King Lear that sold at auction sold in 1946.
Really?
And nothing since.
Wow.
Nothing since. And before that, there was a dealer's catalog maybe from the 20s. Nothing else. So then I looked it up in a bibliography to see how many copies there are in libraries, and there are only 10 copies in the US and 7 in England, which is also really rare. There are definitely plays that there are 50 copies from the same period, or 30 copies. And when you look in the auction record, you'll see them, even if it's every 10 years or so, 1 or 2 come up. At auction, I would conservatively say $10,000 to $15,000.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
For this dirty little book.
Well, I knew it was unusual, but I had no idea. That was certainly more than we had ever expected. My wife and I went home and we talked about this. And it was our conclusion that that was such a rare book that it shouldn't be sitting on our dining room shelf, that it should be part of a collection or part of a library or part of a museum or something like that. I contacted Devin and told her what we wanted to do. And she said that the best way to do that would be to put it up for auction in an auction that specialized in ancient books. And she was having one coming up. So we consigned the book to Swan Galleries, and we watched the auction.
I can open the bidding on this one at $10,000, $11,000, $12,000. $12,000 is bid. $12,000 with order bidders. $13,000.
It was $10,000 to $15,000. We were off and running.
It wasn't very exciting at the beginning.
We moved up into $20,000. We're doing $2,000 increments, so it's $20,000, $22,000.
At that point, I started rooting for it.
$24,000, $26,000.
Come on, you can make 20. You can make 25.
I mean, at the end, it was just these 2 phones, and it went for $46,000. And then the way auctions work, because we are middle people, we charge the buyer 25% premium on top. So the person who bought it ended up paying $57,500.
I was just absolutely flabbergasted, just blown away. Never could have anticipated that at all. And I just didn't know what to say. And still don't.
I would have been thrilled just to have had that first experience in Vermont, but it makes it really special to have been able to contribute something to the book and to its journey along the way. So it's definitely my favorite appraisal and my favorite object that I've had a chance to film on Roadshow for sure.